Hi, and welcome to my channel where I love to do all types of DIYs, everything from home updating projects to budget-friendly DIY home decor. If these are things you're interested in, then I hope you will consider hitting that subscribe button and become part of my DIY family. Okay, on this one I've got this acrylic wood sign that I had picked up from Hobby Lobby back in the spring. You guys would have seen that on my little shopping haul. It does come apart to make it a little easier to craft with. So I'm going to start by peeling off and it still does have the back piece on, which I'll peel off after a while. And I'm going to take some of this burlap trim. I think I'm going to take the one in the middle. I didn't use that one yet and hope it's enough. And I'm just going to take some hot glue and just kind of tack it down first. And then I found the best way is just to put the glue along the ribbon itself and then lay the ribbon down onto the acrylic base. And when you're gluing the ribbon down, just keep in mind the area where that base is going to be taken up. That way you don't glue past that. So you may need to put that base back in just to get a reference to know how far down you can go with the side pieces of ribbon. And per usual, I just like to burn off those little fuzzy pieces off of the ribbon. And this is when I'm just placing it back in that base to see how much space I have and where I need to cut the ribbon. And then I'll just trim that excess off. Okay, and that's what we got so far. And then when I place that bottom ribbon on, I'm just going to leave the base on to give me a reference. It's just going to make things just a little easier. Okay, now I'm just going to use some Goo Gone to get some of that hot glue off of the acrylic piece. And just take some alcohol and get that Goo Gone up. And now for the next thing, on my Cricut, I had printed out just a little saying, Grandma's Garden, and then I put 3 names of some grandchildren. And if you don't have a cutting machine, you could always use stencils. You could always use some carbon paper and trace it out. Okay, that's what I got so far. I hope you can see that. I went with purple because that's her favorite color. I'm just making sure all those letters are down. And the next thing I'm going to do is I've got these dried florals, and I'll go ahead and link those in the description box. But I am going to put some flowers here in the center. I think I'm going to go ahead and use the purple. Now I'm just going to place my pieces down. And these tweezers do come in this kit. I actually like this just the way it is without using a whole bunch. And now I'm just going to use just a very little bit of hot glue to tack those down into place. And when you're pressing down to set that up, just be gentle because those dry florals are very fragile. And then I'm just going to use a little piece of my towel with some Goo Gone on it and just get up some of that hot glue. And then I'm going to go over it again with some alcohol just to get all that Goo Gone up. Isn't that so pretty? I think she'll like that. But you could always paint the base any color you want. I think the natural wood looks really pretty. Easy peasy. What do you guys think about that one? Okay, on this project, I have got this wood panel. It measures 12 by 12, and I did pick it up from the Dollar Tree in the plus section, and it cost $3. And then I've got some of these little Scrabble tile pieces that I had picked up from Amazon, and I'll put a link for that in the description box below. And then in the Crafter Square, I had picked up some wooden clothespins, and these are the 1.87 inch size, so a little smaller. And then I also just printed out on some tissue paper, just a saying that I thought was really cute. I actually saw this on Pinterest, and I thought I would replicate it for a Mother's Day gift. There wasn't a tutorial, and I'm not sure who actually the original person was that created this, but I saw it and I thought it was really pretty. So the first thing I'm going to do is paint this little wood sign here. So I'll be using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the color Linen White, and I'm just going to go ahead and put a coat of that on. All right, so the next thing I want to do is cut out my image. All right, so I'm gonna lay this out. Well, first I'm gonna finish cutting this out with my water pen. Now I'm just going to lay out where I'm going to want everything. And I'm just going to use this. This is 3 by 5. And I'm just going to use this as a guide. Give me an idea of where the picture would lie. And then I'm just going to place a little mark with a pencil where I'm going to be placing that clip down. And then I'm just going to hot glue all of the wooden pieces. And then I'm just going to take some Mod Podge, and I'm using the matte Mod Podge, and I'm just going to go over the surface where I will be placing down the tissue paper. And then I will dry that area down with my heat gun. And when placing the tissue paper on top and then the parchment paper over the tissue paper to press, don't press too long like I did. I had ended up with a little bit of oopsie areas. It doesn't take much at all. Just tap it down in different spots and then check it. And then I just decided it needed something just a little extra, so I took a heart that I had and I just painted it in that light lavender color. And then with some more Mod Podge, you just want to go over the entire area that you put the paint down and the tissue paper down just to seal everything in and give it a cohesive look. And just make sure you don't go over the tissue paper too many times. Once will suffice because otherwise those letters will bleed. All right, had a few snags, but overall, I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, my Mod Podge could have done a little bit better, but hey, we'll do better next time. But I do think it's pretty, and I think that my mother will love it. And happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. Okay, on this one, I've just got this Dollar Tree sign. I just got these little clips on the back, so that's awesome. Alright, well, I thought that this paper might come off, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that easy. So I'm going to pop these flowers off. Right there. We'll save those for later. You never know. I'm going to take some paper out of this vintage floral paper studio pack, and I'm going to choose a new background. Go with this one. I believe I'm going to want it right there. I'm just kind of folding it up to mark its spot so I know where to lay it down. Also try to take this off because I am making my sign horizontal and this is meant to hang vertically. So see if I can pop that off. Just flattening those out because I'm just going to glue it on there. And I'm just going to use some hot glue to secure that down. And I'm also going to reinforce it by going along the edges as well. I'm just going to let that dry. Okay, now that that is dry, I'm going to take my glue stick and just go over this really well. And stick this on. And then I'm just going to smooth that down and go back over it with the brayer just to make sure I've got all the air out and it's stuck down really well. And while that's drying down, got some of these letters that I'd also picked up from the Dollar Tree, these wooden letters. I'm going to take 2 M's, and then I've got some of these little mini wooden icons, and I've gotten both from Hobby Lobby. And this one I got this year, and it was $3.99 plus 40% off. This one I got probably 3 years ago, probably 2 years ago. And at that time it was $2.49 plus 50% off. So it gives you an idea of how much things are just increasing in price. But I am going to take a flower out of there. I think I'm going to go with that one. And I'm going to use that as the O. Then I'm going to take some paint here. And I have got the light lavender from Folk Art, but I've also got an acrylic violet. And I'm just going to take one of these. I save all of my plastic stuff that I could be thrown out. This is just off of a Chinese takeout. So, all right, let's start with putting this out on a palette. Probably didn't need that much. The darker purple and do my M's. And then I'm going to take that lighter purple on the flower. I'm going to go ahead and dry that down with my heat gun. And we want to make sure we get all the edges. And once that's dry, we can go ahead and sand off all the edges, getting all that excess paper off. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and put this back in the frame. That way I know the placement of the rest of the items. I've just got one of these little mini wooden clips that I am going to be gluing on here for a photo. So I am going to go ahead and glue that right there. Put a little marking so I don't, oops. Okay, because I don't have a photo, I am going to take just a piece of cardstock and I'm just going to make me a 4x6 to give me a reference. And I'm just going to take some of these fancy little scissors. And you can see that that's a little big, so I may have to go ahead and do a 3x5. But anyway, we just got at least a little reference. And I would do that before you adhere the clip down. That way, if you do want to use a 4x6, you may have to put it up somewhere a little higher. I don't know if it'll be possible on this blank, but definitely play around with it by using a template of a photo or making sure the photo you want to put in there is going to fit before you glue that pin down or clip down. And then I'm just going to place my letters down. And when I do that, I realize there's a pretty big empty spot that I know just needs something. So I decide that I'm just going to go ahead and put another clip down. That way she can hang up 2 photos instead of 1. What would you guys have done in that empty spot? Let me know in the comments down below. These clips I had actually pulled off of a project, or not a project, but pulled off of like a Dollar Tree sign probably. So it's got just a little bit that tore off with the glue, so I'm just trying to clean it up a little. And then we're just going to glue everything down in place that we hadn't glued already, and this project will be done. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this one.